Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Wealthy Healings, and thank you for tuning into my frequency.
How to meditate? What should I do? One fundamental thing that we need to understand is you cannot do meditation because meditation is a quality. A quality is a consequence of a certain process. As I said, you cannot meditate, but you can become meditative because it's a quality. If one cultivates their body, mind, emotion and energies to a certain level of maturity, you will be naturally meditative 24 hours of the day. Meditation means just this, in a very simple way if we have to put it. If you sit here, your body is here, your mind is there, who you are is little away from these two.
How do you guys feel about that? Him saying that the mind and the body will be separate from the soul, possibly in two different dimensions. I think that's very fascinating to know that you can sit and you can go to a different place in a different time and know that you're separate from your body. Is that how you guys took the clip? Let me know in the comments below.
So the function of this exercise, this posture, is to let the whole world come to you without interfering with it in any way, just sitting like that. You may say, oh, that's a great waste of time. There are all sorts of interesting things in life to do. Why just spend some hours sitting? And the reason, though, as I tried to explain, is that it is through this that one comes to have a contact no longer with a world of abstractions, no longer with a world of thought, but with the world that actually is. Now, as you do this, you begin to notice a rather curious change in your general feeling of life.
So I love these old time clips, right? Because it shows you that even back then, they had some kind of sense of awareness or knew how to bring in some type of inner peace, right? Okay, so let's move on.
Also the feeling of a personal identity, that is the biggest. Will feel the self becomes something that is drifting away. And what you realize is you've always been this. The person who has a lot of struggles in life is also a mind-created identity, and it is observable. And you can feel this mind-created identity floating apart, and still no change in your being. Your being is totally present, complete, rounded. This is the first huge transformation that you'll begin to experience. And I say continue to be with this. Even if you sit for 10 minutes by yourself, try and do this 2 or 3 times a day and sit with it, and it becomes stronger, this realization, this awakening to what you've always been. You realize, but wait a second, but it's always been here.
Okay, so this clip caught my eye because he talks about there is an identity created from the struggle. I can completely feel that, right? You know, you go through life, and as you struggle or try to make a way, or as you, go through things or experience trauma or really just experience life, you change different things about yourself. You find out different things about yourself. You move into a place where You're constantly thinking, rethinking, changing, and moving. And he explains it really well when he talks about how meditation can just bring you back to a center point, and how the various of identities start to just move apart. They just start to move away. But you still know that the deeper parts of you are still here. They haven't gone anywhere. Right? It feels good to know that. So that's why I love this club. Come on, let's keep going.
So if you're somebody who tries to do meditation, you find that your mind just wanders, just remember, every time you scruff yourself and pull yourself back to focusing on some location externally, or focus back on your breath or your third eye center, each one of those are just opportunities to do better. They are essential to the improvement process. Think about them as ascending a staircase of refocusing. Every time you refocus, you're going up one more level, another stair, another stair, another stair. And I think that will move you away from the kind of judgmental process of thinking, oh, like I can't focus on anything. Pretty soon, what you'll notice is that the refocusing process will happen so quickly that you don't even perceive it.
You know, I love this club because it not only speaks about meditation and how to bring your focus back when you're, constantly thinking in your mind, you're losing focus while you're meditating, right? Sorry about the shaking. I have my hands going on my desk. But this can pertain to every regular day life as well. Like if you're in a very negative state and you keep thinking a whole bunch of negative thoughts, and you can't seem to bring yourself back to a neutral point or even to a positive stance, you can use this technique as well, to just bring your focus back. So, whenever you're in a negative mindset, you can, like you said, scruff yourself back into something neutral or even positive. And it may be hard to get back to the positive state, but you can definitely, surely make yourself neutral, by thinking of something that you love, or something that makes you feel really, really good, or just completely changing your mind, or focusing on the present, right? Not being in your head at all. Just focusing on where you are right now in this moment, and let that be it. That'll definitely bring you back to a neutral stance, right? So, yeah, this clip was good. This was a good clip. All right, so let's keep moving.
To go into meditation is three things. One is, for next 10 minutes, I have to say to myself, I want nothing. You can have all your wants later on, but 10 minutes I say, I want nothing, number one. Second, next 10 minutes I do nothing. Yeah? Next 10 minutes we do nothing. Third thing is, I am nothing. You could be somebody little later, but during meditation you say, I'm nothing, I'm nobody, I'm not a lawyer, doctor, whatever. So, I want nothing, I do nothing, I am nothing. These three ideas will help us to calm our mind.
Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? To say, I want nothing, I do nothing, I am nothing. Doesn't that feel good? Out of all the labels that we put on ourselves from day to day, all the things that we feel like we need to do, we gotta do, and it has to be right now, doesn't it feel good to just sit and say, I don't want anything, I don't want to do anything, and I don't want to be anything, nothing right now, just absolutely nothing. Yep, that feels pretty amazing. That feels pretty amazing. And to be able to tell yourself that while you're in a complete relaxed state, imagine how great you would feel. Yeah, I can already tell that feels good.
Our minds have to be silent some of the time if we are really to have anything to think about except thoughts. You know, there is a popular proverb which says that talking to yourself is the first sign of madness. And there's some truth in this, because constant thinking, as distinct from simply experiencing through our senses, constant thinking about our experiences, coding our experiences into words, into signs, into the symbols of thought, is a buzz that goes on day in and day out inside our heads, except when we're asleep. And as a result of that, we begin to live in a world increasingly divorced from reality. And that is why in those Oriental cultures in India and China and Japan, it has always been considered important for everybody to spend some of his time, by no means all of his time, but some of it, not thinking.
Oh yeah, another one of these old time clips. I started laughing when he said that our minds have to be silent some of the time if we're to think about anything other than our thoughts. That is hilarious. But on a serious note, I think he's right, right? We do need to sit and not think about what we're thinking about, right? We need to just not think, right? You need to have time to sit and just be quiet, be silent, and just let whatever's happening happen. And like, as I'm saying those words, that already just feels really good. It's like a release in that's untold, right?
When you stop thinking, there's a wonderful thing that happens in the brain when we become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, no time. That's the moment where we shut the mechanism down of thinking, and by focusing on nothing, on space, there's a recalibration of the nervous system back to more order, back to more wholeness, back to more oneness. And the closer you get to singularity, to source, to oneness, to wholeness, to absolute, whatever you want to call that, and you're creating from the field instead of from matter, every thought in the quantum produces a frequency. So the thought of your wealth in the quantum should produce the frequency or the feeling of abundance. And if you can experience the feeling of that ahead of the actual event, you're beginning to change information in the field. Keep doing that. Thought objectifies and conditions reality. So you create a thought form, and in time, all of a sudden, you start having these synchronicities and these outcomes in your life.
Oh yeah, another one of these old time clips. I started laughing when he said that our minds have to be silent some of the time if we're to think about anything other than our thoughts. That is hilarious. But on a serious note, I think he's right, right? We do need to sit and not think about what we're thinking about, right? We need to just not think, right? You need to have time to sit and just be quiet, be silent, and just let whatever's happening happen. And like, as I'm saying those words, that already just feels really good. It's like a release in that's untold, right?
I meditate every day. I meditate every day. I do it in the mornings, and I do it for about 10 to 15 minutes. And I think it's important because it sets me up for the rest of the day. You know, it helps me. It's like having an anchor. You know, if I don't do it, I feel like I'm constantly chasing the day.
Ah, yes, the synchronicities, right? And I'm pretty sure you guys know that after a while, you do start to see things that repeat each other over and over and over again. You heard someone mention something that morning, and you know, it kind of went in one ear and out the other. You're paying attention, but not really paying attention. And then later on that evening, you hear it again on a news clip or a YouTube video or something. You're like, wait a minute. I heard somebody talking about that this morning, right? Or other synchronicities like numbers. You get the 111 and the 444 and the, the 333, right? So as you begin to move through meditation, be able to connect more, you will synchronize, right? You'll be able to tap into this quantum field of infinite abundance that could possibly render you a feeling that you can use in the outside world to bring you in that wealth and abundance, whether that be happiness, whether that be, money, whether it be contentment or peace. So yeah, let's keep moving.
Before you go to bed, spend at least 12–15 minutes reminding yourself you're neither this body nor this mind. If you're not able to do it, just link it to your breath. Inhalation, I'm not the body. Exhalation, I'm not even the mind. Just lie down for 12 minutes and do it till the last moment, till you fall asleep. This is something you must notice. Most human beings, when I say most, I'm very generous with the percentage, 99%. 99% of the human beings never notice that moment when they're slipping from wakefulness to sleep. If they're alert, they cannot sleep, but there is a way to sleep in an alert manner. If you sleep like that, one thing that will happen to you is your sleep quota, if you're sleeping for 8 hours, it will simply drop to 3 to 4 hours just straight away. That moment when you're passing from wakefulness to sleep, if you can still be conscious that I am not the body and I am not the mind, believe me, something remarkable will happen.
Once again, another one of those feel-good videos where he says something that's very attractive to the mind, or really attractive to the body. When he said that soon you will realize that you are not the mind and you are not the body, say that to yourself and your body will react. Like the body's like, oh yeah, that feels good, right? Oh yeah, that feels good, right? So this next clip is quite astonishing. Check it out.
Person's sitting in a meditation and they're doing absolutely nothing. And it's 8 o'clock in the morning and their body for the last 10 years has been going in traffic and getting angry and frustrated in traffic. And now they're sitting in a meditation at 8 o'clock in the morning. The body's going to say, hey, you're off schedule. I'm used to suffering and getting angry here. Yeah. So the body's going to start looking for that emotion and it's going to start influencing the mind and you're going to start getting images and memories just so you could feel that emotion. Like now the person's back in the past. But if they become aware that they're siphoning energy out of the present moment into the past, and they settle the body back down into the present moment, that's a victory.
In this video, it shows how meditation can do wonders for you when you are, in the world and in the uproar of the world. Let me say that. If you haven't meditated in a very long time and you sit down to meditate, you have, sometimes you do have a little bit of a struggle into getting into that stillness and into that silence mode. Some people call it the vortex, getting down into the vortex, because your body's like, well, what are you doing? We should be doing something else. We should be, getting angry, or we should be over here being anxious, or we should be, doing this and doing that. What are you doing? Right? So your body's like, to settle down is not possible right now. Let's go. What are you doing? Hello. And once you get into, a pretty, a routine, meditating, then of course your body craves that. You'll have moments where your body's like, hey, just take a minute, right? Just take a beat, go sit down and take a few breaths and just relax for a second. Like the body will start wanting that. It'll start looking for that relaxed moment, that moment you can just go into silence and into the vortex, and it can just stop stopped all the thoughts, all the craziness, all the feelings, and the sensations that are going through your body, all of that can just stop. So it works both ways. It works both ways. And that was a really great clip. I liked it. All right, let's move on.
Mindfulness meditation and how to practice it. Mindfulness is simply paying attention to your environment, activities, and thoughts in a neutral and non-judgmental way. So you're limiting your thoughts to your present situation. If other thoughts intrude on this process, you bring your attention back to the present. For example, if you're mowing the grass, think about the things that you see, smell, hear, and taste and feel while you're cutting the grass. Practicing mindfulness helps declutter your mind. When your mind gets cluttered, you feel stressed. And this can come in the form of feeling tense, tired, overwhelmed, irritable. Not only can this affect you negatively, but it can also affect your relationships with the people most important to you. If your mind is overloaded, you can become emotionally unavailable and not fully engaged with the people around you.
So the mindfulness meditation clip kind of ties it all in for us, right? Lets us know how being focused can really help reduce some of the other sensory things that we feel in our environment, right? So it goes back to the guy that was talking about, scruffing yourself back into focus, while you're meditating. And what I was speaking about, how this can be pertaining to everyday life, right? She's talking about being focused on the task that you're doing. And not only being focused, but having all of your senses tapped in, right? So you're not mowing the grass